Welcome back to our channel. In the realm of numismatics, every coin tells a story. Some speak quietly through their familiar designs, while others roar with rare errors and astonishing values that can transform them from ordinary currency into extraordinary treasures. Among these hidden gems lies the 1994 USA 1-cent coin, a piece of copper-coated zinc that for most people is just a penny, but for a select few, it's a symbol of discovery, curiosity, and an incredible turn of fortune. The 1994 penny was part of a long-standing tradition in American coinage, a continuation of the Lincoln cent series first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin's obverse still features Lincoln's right-facing profile, a steadfast image etched into generations of American memory. The 1994 version, like many before and after, retained this historic design, connecting the past with the present through a single, unassuming coin. Lincoln's image on the penny has come to represent not only the legacy of a great leader, but the story of a nation. From the era of the Great Depression through civil rights movements and technological revolutions, the Lincoln cent has witnessed the evolution of American society from the most humble places, pockets, wallets, and change trays. The 1994 penny is a chapter in that ongoing narrative, one that many have touched, but few have truly examined. Minted in vast quantities at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the 1994 penny circulated widely throughout the United States. For most people, it was used for simple transactions, parking meters, bubble gum, and paying exact change. But in the hands of a coin collector or keen-eyed enthusiast, it became something far more significant. Because hidden within the commonness of the 1994 penny are rare errors and striking variations that have elevated this coin to legendary status. One of the most talked about anomalies in the 1994 penny series is the double die error. This happens during the coin's minting process when the die, the metal stamp that creates the coin's design, strikes the coin more than once but in slightly different positions. The result? Letters or numbers that appear doubled, especially in areas like the date, the word liberty, or the famous motto, "In God We Trust." These doubled impressions are not a trick of the eye, they are very real and very valuable. The double die effect is subtle but profound. To the casual observer, a 1994 penny with such an error might appear unremarkable. But to a trained collector, the doubling of a single character can signal a rare and highly desirable minting flaw. These coins are studied under magnification, compared against known examples, and graded according to their clarity and preservation. Some of the finest known examples have fetched impressive prices, commanding attention from major collectors and institutions alike. Another remarkable error found on some 1994 pennies is the off-center strike. These occur when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned within the press, leading to a shifted design where part of the image or text is missing. The value of these coins depends on how much of the design is off-center, with 50% or more being the most desirable, especially if the date remains visible. These coins are easy to spot, yet they're incredibly rare. These off-center strikes are more than mere curiosities. Each one is a frozen moment of imperfection, a tangible reminder of the human and mechanical interplay involved in minting millions of coins. The more dramatic the error, the more visually striking and valuable the coin becomes. Enthusiasts prize them not just for their rarity, but for their aesthetic uniqueness. There's also the ever-elusive wide AM variety. On most 1994 pennies, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are very close together, nearly touching. But a rare mistake occurred when the mint used a reverse die intended for a proof coin on a regular circulation penny. This die left a noticeable space between the A and the M, creating what collectors now call the wide AM variety. Spotting one requires sharp eyes and good lighting, but those who do may be holding something far more valuable than a single cent. Because this error is subtle, it's often missed by those unfamiliar with the specifics. But once you know what to look for, it's a thrilling hunt. People have been known to sort through thousands of pennies just to find one example of this elusive spacing anomaly. For many collectors, the wide AM is a crown jewel among Lincoln cents, prized not only for its rarity but for the knowledge and dedication it takes to identify one. Another variety of error involves die cracks, raised lines on the surface of the coin caused by tiny fractures in the minting die. While not as dramatic as a double die or off-center strike, these cracks are still sought after for their uniqueness. They can appear as small lines running across Lincoln's portrait or the reverse design and are often overlooked by those unaware of their importance. Die cracks are like signatures of the minting process, small, often overlooked indicators that something unusual occurred during production. For collectors, these cracks can represent the final strikes of a worn die, capturing the fleeting moment before it was retired or replaced. Some even believe these features add character and personality to a coin, making them more appealing than their perfectly minted counterparts. Then there's the truly bizarre, the transitional error. These happen when a coin is struck using the wrong metal composition or planchet type. While extremely rare, there have been instances where coins meant to be minted in copper-plated zinc were instead struck on bronze planchets, left over from previous years. These transitional errors are rare and valuable, and experts test for them through weight and metallurgical analysis. Because metal compositions can only be verified through careful testing, many transitional error coins go unnoticed for years, or even decades. When discovered, they rewrite the known history of a coin year. The 1994 penny, though officially made of zinc with a copper coating, may have a few surviving examples that defy expectations. Those specimens would command enormous interest, not just for their rarity but for the mystery they present. Despite the small size of the penny, the amount of scrutiny and admiration it receives from collectors is enormous. Coin rolls, old jars, and even childhood piggy banks become hunting grounds for those who understand the treasure that could be hiding in plain sight. Each 1994 penny holds potential, not just because of its year, but because of what may have gone unnoticed for decades. The thrill of the hunt is what keeps the numismatic world alive. Every collector remembers the first time they found something unusual, a coin with an odd shimmer, a date that seemed off, a tiny doubling that led to hours of research and, sometimes, a shocking revelation. For many, coins are more than metal. They are puzzles, stories, and investments wrapped into one. What makes the 1994 penny especially captivating is that it was minted during a time of transition and modernization at the U.S. Mint. Technology was improving, yet human oversight and mechanical variance meant that mistakes still happened, and when they did, they sometimes resulted in coins that today are worth many thousands of times their face value. These mistakes are not failures, they are chapters in the continuing story of American coinage. Accidents turned into artifacts. Collectors and experts continue to search, study, and share findings about the 1994 penny, keeping its intrigue alive. Online communities, forums, and numismatic conventions often feature discussions about new discoveries, sometimes involving coins that were simply sitting unnoticed in a family's coin box or a forgotten envelope. The journey of these coins from ordinary to extraordinary is what fuels the passion of the hobby. For most people, a penny is just a penny, passed along, forgotten, or tossed into a jar without a second thought. But for those who look closely, who know what to seek, and who take the time to explore the fine details, the rewards can be astonishing. A single coin, struck decades ago, could turn out to be a life-changing find, and now, at the end of this story, we reach the most incredible detail of all. Among the rarest 1994 pennies ever discovered, pristine, error-marked, and fully authenticated, one specific example has achieved a staggering valuation. A coin once worth just 1 cent has now been appraised at a breathtaking $122,000. The 1997 1-cent penny from the United States is one such example, a small copper-colored coin that, to the untrained eye, seems like any other. But within certain specimens of the 1997 penny lies a world of intrigue, rarity, and astonishing worth. The Lincoln cent, which features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, has graced the obverse of the U.S. 1-cent coin since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this image has become one of the most recognized in American numismatics. By 1997, nearly 9 decades after its introduction, the design had become a symbol of enduring legacy, modesty, and the everyman's coin. The reverse still depicted the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that had been used since 1959, replacing the original wheat stalks. While the design had remained largely unchanged, the 1990s brought about refinements in minting technology. Coins were being struck with greater precision, and quality control was improving. But no process is flawless. Even in an era of modern minting, errors occurred, and some of those errors made their way into circulation. Among the most valuable of these are the 1997 Lincoln cents with specific mistakes and anomalies that have turned ordinary coins into prized collectibles. the most well-known and sought-after error on the 1997 penny is the double die obverse. A result of a misalignment during the die creation process, a double die error creates the appearance of a doubled image, most often seen in the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust." These doubled elements are distinct and visible, especially under magnification, and collectors are constantly searching rolls of pennies to find such a treasure. Another anomaly is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank isn't properly seated in the minting press, causing the design to be struck off-center. Depending on the degree of misalignment, these coins can be highly desirable. A 1997 penny with a significant off-center strike that still shows the date clearly can be a standout piece in any collection, due to its visual uniqueness and rarity. Also worth noting are clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a mistake during the blanking process. These clips can range from minor to dramatic, and while common in earlier decades, they are rarer in more recent years like 1997. A clipped 1997 penny in good condition could easily fetch a premium from collectors who focus on minting mishaps. One of the most exciting and lesser-known varieties from 1997 is the presence of transitional errors. While officially, the penny's composition in 1997 was copper-plated zinc, there are rumors and rare instances of coins from surrounding years being struck on bronze planchets, a composition phased out in the early 1980s. These rare transitional errors are identified by weight and composition analysis, and if confirmed, such a coin from 1997 would be an extraordinary find. Additionally, die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs of metal caused by die damage or breakage, have been identified on some 1997 pennies. These anomalies offer collectors another avenue of interest, as each one is unique and tells the story of a minting die nearing the end of its life. Some of these errors can appear as dramatic raised lines across Lincoln's profile or as distortions on the lettering and rim. Collectors also pay close attention to proof coins, specially minted coins for collectors that have a mirror-like finish. Occasionally, a proof die may mistakenly be used on a circulation coin, creating a rare hybrid. Though exceedingly uncommon, such errors are the stuff of legends in coin collecting communities. A proof-like 1997 penny found in circulation would immediately attract attention for authentication. Why does a simple penny, minted in the hundreds of millions, carry such fascination? It's not just the errors, it's the thrill of the unexpected. The idea that something so valuable could hide in plain sight drives collectors to keep searching, year after year. Coin rolls, bank bags, and family piggy banks become goldmines of possibility. For many, finding that one coin is a moment of validation, discovery, and often, financial reward. Stories abound of individuals finding rare pennies during routine coin hunts. A father and son checking a jar of coins. A cashier noticing something odd in a till. A retiree who revisits childhood collections. These stories remind us that treasure doesn't always sparkle. Sometimes, it weighs just 2.5 grams and carries a little portrait of Lincoln. The market for error coins and varieties continues to grow, fueled by online platforms, coin shows, and the enduring human fascination with rarity. The 1997 penny, though modern and often overlooked, holds its own in this exciting realm. It stands as proof that valuable collectibles don't always need to be ancient or made of precious metals. Sometimes, value is born from imperfection and discovery. As collectors continue to examine and authenticate 1997 pennies, new discoveries are still being made. Coins once dismissed are being re-evaluated. Varieties are being catalogued. The dialogue between enthusiasts, experts, and new collectors keeps the spirit of numismatics alive. So, the next time you come across a 1997 penny, take a moment. Look closely. You might be holding a piece of history, a rare error, or even a transitional anomaly. You might be just one coin away from uncovering a hidden treasure. And now, after exploring all the remarkable possibilities within this humble penny, we arrive at the most stunning detail. One extraordinary 1997 Lincoln cent, featuring unique and verified errors, has achieved a valuation that most would never imagine for a single cent. That coin, small in size but massive in value, is now worth an astounding $115,000. Every coin in your pocket has a story, a journey that often begins in a U.S. mint facility and ends up in the palm of a person who may never look at it twice. But for those who do look closely, those who truly examine the surface, the details, the year, they occasionally stumble upon something extraordinary. And among these extraordinary finds is the 2006 1-cent penny, a coin that might appear common at first glance but has hidden within its copper-plated zinc shell an array of secrets, surprises, and staggering value. The 2006 Lincoln cent, like its predecessors since 1959, featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and the right-facing profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Designed by Victor David Brenner over a century prior, Lincoln's image had become an American staple, found in the smallest denomination but representing monumental history. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, framed the Lincoln Memorial in exquisite miniature detail, right down to the tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the columns. For many Americans, this penny was simply a part of everyday life. It passed through pockets, cash registers, jars, and sidewalks, its significance hiding in plain sight. In 2006, the U.S. Mint continued producing these pennies in both Philadelphia and Denver. Billions were struck, intended for everyday use. People used them in vending machines, to complete change at the grocery store, and as little more than tiny cogs in the vast wheel of commerce. But as any numismatist will tell you, it's in the vastness of production that rarity sometimes finds its way through, as errors, varieties, or transitional strikes. Each coin tells a slightly different story depending on its origin, the conditions of its production, and the rare flaws that sometimes accompany it. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 2006 penny is the double die error, particularly on the obverse. When a die receives more than one impression that is misaligned, it can lead to doubling of the inscriptions such as, "Liberty, in God we trust," or the date itself. These doubling effects can be slight or dramatic, but even minor instances have garnered strong interest from collectors. Under magnification, the doubled letters create a ghost-like echo that instantly distinguishes such a penny from the norm. These coins have been the subject of countless online posts, collector forum discussions, and YouTube videos showcasing the unique distortions that set them apart. Another standout category includes off-center strikes. These errors occur when the coin blank isn't properly aligned with the die during striking, causing the design to be imprinted off-center. The farther off-center the strike, the more visually dramatic, and usually more valuable, the error. A 2006 penny with an off-center strike that leaves the date fully visible while significantly misaligning the rest of the design can fetch a high price due to both its rarity and eye appeal. Such coins not only show the minting mishap but also reveal how controlled chaos can produce accidental beauty. Even more elusive are coins struck on the wrong planchet. While the 2006 penny was supposed to be made of copper-plated zinc, a few rare instances of pennies being struck on foreign or misassigned planchets have emerged in other years. A 2006 penny that accidentally used a blank meant for a dime, nickel, or a foreign coin would immediately stand out by weight and coloration. These kinds of errors are extraordinarily rare and almost always discovered by accident. Metal composition analysis and weight testing become essential tools in confirming such finds, elevating a once-forgotten coin into a historical artifact. Clipped planchets are another type of error collectors seek. These occur during the blanking process when the metal sheet is punched too closely together, resulting in a coin with a curved or missing portion along the edge. For modern coins like the 2006 penny, cleanly clipped planchets are much harder to find, making them prized possessions in any collection. Such coins represent tangible proof of the minting machinery's imperfections, a mechanical hiccup preserved forever in metal. Collectors also examine the surface and details of 2006 pennies for signs of die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors. These subtle flaws can lead to raised lines, blobs of metal where part of the die broke off, or areas where the metal appears split or peeled. Each of these flaws is unique, and while they may not all carry the same value as double dies or off-center strikes, they each add to the story and individuality of the coin. In some cases, even small die chips near Lincoln's eye or beard have been named by collectors, creating lore around otherwise unnoticed details. Perhaps most exciting of all are the unconfirmed but rumored transitional errors, such as planchets being carried over from one composition or specification to another. If a 2006 penny were discovered to be struck on a planchet leftover from a prior era, its uniqueness would send shockwaves through the collecting community. Such finds are typically verified through metallurgical testing, weight analysis, and close inspection by certified grading companies. These rare transitional pieces often command the highest premiums and are highly sought after by elite collectors and institutions alike. what gives the 2006 penny such intrigue is not just the possibility of error but the fact that it represents one of the final years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. In just a few years, the U.S. Mint would launch a series of new reverses to honor Lincoln's bicentennial, followed by a permanent shift to the Union Shield design. The 2006 penny, then, stands at the twilight of a long chapter in U.S. coin history, making it more sentimental and appealing to collectors who appreciate closing eras. It serves as a time capsule, capturing a design era that was about to end, cementing its place in the broader story of American coinage. The numismatic world thrives on curiosity. Every collector, from the novice sifting through spare change to the expert examining die varieties under a microscope, knows the thrill of discovering something remarkable. The 2006 penny continues to surprise, especially as more coins are scrutinized and previously unnoticed varieties come to light. It represents the idea that everyday objects can hold extraordinary secrets, that something as mundane as a penny can become a pathway to history, mystery, and value. Collectors post photos, trade finds, and share stories of unexpected treasures that once sat untouched in jars, drawers, and glove compartments. One of the greatest joys in coin collecting is knowing that the next great discovery could come from anywhere, even a coin tossed aside as insignificant. Communities of collectors continue to grow, driven by the belief that something special is always waiting to be discovered, even in a coin minted less than 2 decades ago. And now, we come to the most remarkable detail in this journey through copper and time. One rare and pristine 2006 Lincoln cent, exhibiting unique and authenticated errors, has shocked the numismatic world not only with its rarity but with its current value. That once ordinary penny, the kind you might find in your daily change, is now worth an astonishing $102,000.